take you back here a little bit. It's the year 2000. The new millennium is here, you're kicking back with a Pepsi and just chilling with some new metal tracks, and you're all set up to play some Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
And there, it's almost as if the year 2000 has come right back with everything that embodied the time period. There are quite a few games I can list where, for some strange reason, whenever I play them, it just surrounds me with some kind of weird warp in the space-time continuum where, despite not having played the game at its time of release, on a metaphysical level, it feels as if the moment I'm living in right now is the time period when the game came out.
And one such video game that I'm going to be looking at today, which brings me this feeling, is of course Jackie Chan Stuntmaster for the Sony PlayStation.
Developed by Simpsons hit and run developer Radical Entertainment, the game centers around you playing as Jackie Chan in a 3D beat-em-up environment set in New York City with a bunch of locations taken from that specific setting. One interesting thing to note is that during the game's development, Radical Entertainment consulted the man himself, Jackie Chan, to not only ensure that the game gave off an authentic feel of one of his movies, but also going as far as to doing the motion capture and gameplay just for added effect. And if that wasn't cool enough, he also supplied his voice for the character in game, which only goes to further enhance the experience. As far as my experience with the game goes, and this is really just coming from somebody whose only real exposure to Jackie Chan is through the Drunken Master movies, but my first exposure to this game was through emulators. From 2010 up until around mid-2015, I was huge into emulators. In fact, honestly, it was really how I ended up being able to play a lot of PS1 games, so having this as a means to play these kinds of games was a godsend. Granted, I ended up stopping because of certain legal grey areas, but nonetheless, I do not regret my time using them because, unlike games today which are given mass amounts of infamy and overhype, I picked up this game purely on a whim, and honestly, I had a fucking blast spending my Friday and Saturday nights playing this.
If I could reminisce for a moment, this game, for reasons which I still can't explain, just brought something that honestly made video games fun, you know?
Which, as I mentioned earlier, is really weird because unlike nostalgia, I didn't grow up with this game, but somehow through cultural osmosis, I feel as if this game has been with me since the day it came out.
Which in and of itself is really fucking meta.
But to cut a long story short, suffice it to say, I had a lot of fun with this game. So naturally I figured I'd give it a review to showcase how much I fucking love this game because honestly, as biased as this might sound so far, I really think people overlook this game because this is brimming with so much effort and personality that I think it needs to be showcased. And so on March 29th of 2000, Jackie Chan had finally earned the title of Stuntmaster.
And seeing as we're getting back into the swing of reviewing games again, let's see if I can earn the title of Stuntmaster by reviewing Jackie Chan Stuntmaster.
So the plot kicks off in a warehouse where Jackie Chan and his grandfather run the Golden Dragon Courier Company. Jackie's grandfather then asks him to deliver a package to the Temple of the Shaolin with his utmost attention.
Whoa, I wonder what's inside.
If I find out that you're loafing around at that cafe again, stuffing your face, oh...
Don't worry, grandfather. I'm on my way.
Slapstick.
Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Jackie, a fat PS1 version of Cole McGrath contacts his boss named Dante. No, not that Dante. Fatter and with a little less hair. There we go. Anyway, henchman guy, who for some reason sounds like Sideways from Transformers Armada, is given instructions by Dante to kidnap Jackie's grandfather and obtain the package from him. Elsewhere, we then cut back to Jackie, who disobeyed his grandfather, as evident by him stuffing his face at that cafe again. Suddenly, however, a clown, a sailor, a chef, and a disco dancer arrive with Jackie's grandfather taken hostage, causing Jackie to leap into action on his quest to save him.
And he does this in one of the most badass action sequences I've ever seen since Sonic Unleashed.
Look out! Keep the gate.
The limo the villains were driving crashes, but Jackie is unable to save his grandfather from their clutches, with his last words being for Jackie to protect the package. With the package in Jackie's hands and his grandfather held captive, it's up to Jackie Chan to hunt down the bad guys, kick their scrawny little asses, and save his grandfather and foil Dante's evil schemes.
And that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of this game's story.
From this point forward, the game's plot basically involves Jackie hunting down the game's bosses and defeating them, while slowly making his way across New York City to find his grandfather. After defeating the penultimate boss, Disco Danny, Jackie finds a helicopter with Jackie's grandfather inside, leading Jackie one step closer to his goal as he grabs onto the chopper and heads to his next destination. Jackie then finds Dante in his evil corporate building, where he reveals that his motivation for kidnapping Jackie's grandfather and his desire to procure the package is...
because I can.
In other words, because he's a massive dick.
Jackie finally confronts Dante and the two duke it out in the final battle. But in the end, Jackie defeats Dante in an admittedly a pretty gruesome way. And so, Jackie finally rescues his grandfather and the two decide to go home.
Oh, wait, what was in the package?
I'm hungry. How about something to eat?
What's the matter with you? You got a tapeworm or something? If you don't come eating like that, you're gonna puff up like a puffer fish.
Are you trying to kill me?
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the...
Seriously though, in terms of overall plot, Jackie Chan's Stuntmaster is a pretty easygoing game, and it's best suited for those who are just looking for a kung fu movie in video game form, which to me, makes for a pretty good Friday night. Over to the gameplay side of things, Jackie controls quite well for a PS1 fighting game. Much similar to Neversoft's Spider-Man game for the same system, Jackie's combat consists of punches, kicks, grabs, and your moveset is really only limited by your imagination. What I mean by this is that by combining punches and kicks together, the combat system can be both basic and easy to use, but also have a little bit of depth for those who wish to experiment with your punches, kicks, and grabs. In addition, you also have the option of using everyday objects like brooms, footstools, sunflowers, and even the environment around you to your advantage during combat, which only adds further diversity to how you approach certain combat situations. These moves also combine with Jackie's jumps and dodge rolls, which in many cases are quite useful when taking on the bosses. Looking at you, Disco Danny.
Disco is dead, you jive turkey.
Speaking of bosses, I was actually quite surprised at how memorable each one of them was, though I guess that was mostly attributed to how ridiculous each of them were in their own way. I mean, come on, you're fighting against a chef, a sailor, a clown, a jive turkey, disco dancer, and Dante.
Despite their stereotypical natures, these bosses are actually pretty entertaining and also make themselves feel memorable through their lines of dialogue and their design.
The heat, the swing and the sway, I got all the moves. I'm a #1 fighting fool. You know I am so cool. Jackie, let's boogie.
Get down.
In terms of level design, the stages take place throughout New York City through many varied locales such as Chinatown, the docks, the sewers, subways, factories, and a disco dance club. In terms of mission structure, in Jackie Chan's Stuntmaster, you can unlock missions by means of continuing the story. However, upon their completion, you are given the choice to return to older stages if you wish to replay them. As far as collectibles are concerned, the game has red dragon icons which are used to unlock gold dragon icons which unlock a secret level set in the Temple of the Shaolin, and a bonus video of the real Jackie Chan showing how he did the motion capture work for the game. As for anything else, you also have health pickup in the form of milk and noodles.
And that's something I love about video games from this era, because no matter how fatal an injury you suffer, drinking milk and eating noodles can completely heal broken bones, stab wounds, or bullet wounds. So, let's lead by a video game example and put this theory to the test. Nope. Really doesn't.
Well, despite that delicious lapse in logic, the gameplay overall has a very entertaining and with a simple yet complex style of gameplay that Jackie Chan has proven that he is indeed a Stuntmaster. Over to the technical aspects, Jackie Chan's Stuntmaster looks very much like a product of its time, but that's to be expected considering that the PS1 was on the way out by this point. However, one thing I will give this game over most PS1 games is really how smooth the animations are, no doubt thanks to the motion capture technology. Not only does it showcase the cool stunt work in the game, but it also more than makes up for the visuals being par for the course, since every cutscene in the game is always jam-packed with some awesome fight choreography or some goofy comic relief.
And best of all, the in-game cutscenes are given just as much love as the CG cutscenes.
Suffice it to say, one of the coolest aspects of this game is how it is brimming with personality. It really goes above and beyond in showing how unique this game is compared to other licensed games in its style. As I also mentioned earlier, basic enemy types such as the bosses are also prone to spouting out lines of dialogue which though some might find grating after a while, in and of themselves I do very much appreciate because it gives them some personality despite being the generic enemy type, which, again, it's a finer detail that I can very much appreciate. As for the soundtrack, and, well, as painfully obvious with this game, there is a very big emphasis on kung fu themes, but there are a few centric tracks which borrow other elements from other genres like jazz, disco, rock, and to top it all off, all the tracks are pretty catchy and, honestly, they make for some wicked tunes to pound your enemies into the dust with. Overall, the aesthetics and technical aspects combined with the kick-ass gameplay are what make this game shine, and to me, this is what makes Jackie Chan's Stuntmaster worth playing.
So with all that out of the way, what are my final thoughts on Jackie Chan Stuntmaster? Holy fuck, I'm so used to mega-length reviews and it feels so weird to end the episode this quickly.
As a whole, Jackie Chan Stuntmaster is a game that I frequently enjoy kicking back and playing every now and again because honestly, it's just fun. The combat is decently handled, the aesthetics are cool, the cutscenes are funny, and while not exactly story-heavy, the game is best enjoyed as something to play on a Friday night after a stressful day. In terms of recommendations, if you're a fan of Jackie Chan movies, kung fu, or even the fantastic presence of Disco Danny, then Jackie Chan's Stuntmaster is a game that, as I've said before, is best played when you just want to kick back and, just play something fun after a stressful day.
And so it's with great honor that I grant this game worthy of the title Stuntmaster. And on that note, I am Skully, keep it new metal, and I think it's time to boogie.
The heat, the swing, and the sway, I got all the moves. I'm a number one fighting fool. You know I am so cool. Jackie, let's boogie.
Get down.
There are gaps in my memory. Things that I should remember but don't. Almost as if the history was off somehow. But even if there are gaps in my memory, there are just some things that I'll never forget. It's clear to me that I'm going to die by the hands of whatever the hell this thing is. But at least I can die with the knowledge of who my enemy is rather than stumbling around blindly like this.
Maybe it's time. But in the spirit of Christmas, how about one more for the road?